No amount of fire could challenge the fairy tale he had stored up in his heart.
Will you still love me when I'm no longer?
Leonardo, the role of Gatsby, did you seek it out or did it find you?
It found me. Baz, we've had a long relationship ever since Romeo and Juliet. I've known him for almost 20 years. Is never afraid to take on classic literature, as we did with Romeo and Juliet. And he handed me a first edition of the book. And I remembered reading it in junior high school. And, you know, I had my own sort of experience with the novel, but it didn't quite connect with me as a youth. And I picked it up again, and after he told me he wanted to do a film version of it, and I was just blown away by the book. It took on so many different new meanings. It had so much more nuance than I remembered. And it's one of those iconic, you know, American novels that is, you know, woven into the fabric of our country in a lot of ways.
Who is this Gatsby?
He was a German spy during the war.
Teddy Barton, Nick Carraway.
A German spy?
No. He's the Kaiser's assassin.
I heard he killed a man once.
It's true.
Kills for fun, free of charge.
He's certainly richer than God.
It's kind of an iconic part as well.
Absolutely.
What did you want to bring to it?
Well, for me, I remembered it being this very sort of traditional love story of this man that was obsessed with this woman named Daisy, but it's such an existential novel in a lot of ways. This guy is the eternal dreamer. He's a manifestation of his own dreams. And I looked at it as not a love story anymore, but kind of a man obsessed with a version of his past that he never got to complete, something that was missing.
It's perfect.
Even though this woman that was right in front of him was everything that he thought would complete him, she was just, you know, she was a relic of the past. She didn't really exist.
Did you feel any pressure taking on the role? Was there any sense of a poisoned chalice?
There's an enormous pressure with taking on the role, because I think what's so great about this novel and why people still discuss it, you know, nearly 100 years later, and still have arguments about, you know, the meaning of each sentence and each word and each bit of symbolism is because, you know, it's left up to the interpretation of you as a reader. And so everyone's going to have their own specific feeling about who Gatsby is, who Daisy is, what this world is like. So when you do a cinematic version of that, you have to be much more specific in your decision making. So it's in a way a recipe for disaster, because so many people, you know, are going to say that's not how I felt Daisy should be or how Gatsby should be. But for me, I just looked at it as an incredible character to take on, something that was, you know, subtle in its approach, but had so much power and so much depth and meaning in every single line.
You must be crazy. No, old spoon. No, you see, she never loved you.
We would argue endlessly about what Fitzgerald meant for each of these sequences, and it's very voyeuristic. You feel like you're in the room with these people having these very intimate conversations. That was the power of Fitzgerald's word. But the truth is that we picked up this other novel, which was the predecessor to The Great Gatsby. It was called Trimalchio. And in that novel, you know, it's sort of the unedited version of The Great Gatsby. And a lot more of what Fitzgerald originally intended for these characters was in that novel. What's so great about The Great Gatsby is what's taken out, I think, and what's left for you as an audience to sort of interpret on your own. But
just on that, you'll be aware that the audiences have responded differently to this. It's had what one would call mixed reviews. Why do you think that is?
Look, the one thing that I've always learned in this industry is you go to make these films, you're off on location for months and months at a time. All you can ever do is try your best. And I know we did that for this film. And ultimately, whether people embrace it or tear it apart is so beyond anyone's control. All you could do is really dedicate yourself to making a great piece of art. And that's what we ultimately did. And you know, it's gotten quite a tremendous response in America, and hopefully people enjoy it.